Today we are diving headfirst into the world of the Dark Knights of Steel. If you remember, it's the story in the DC universe that takes place in an era where the DC heroes are thrust into a medieval world. So yes, dragon, knights, Vikings. And in my Dark Knights of Steel playlist, we follow the knights of this new world. In this video, we're following the Vikings. We are following the life and times of the Terminator himself. We are talking about the Deathstroke. And like I always say, a good story starts with a good death. And this death is caused by an arrow coming from a trajectory unseen, ricocheting off objects like walls, helmets, matter of fact, people's battle axe. It was heading somewhere. And we see exactly where the arrow was heading, straight for the head of the warlord Black Mask. Because in this Viking age, war is everything. And Black Mask was a warlord that deserved to be taken out because he wanted something. He coveted something that wasn't his to collect. And from a distance, we see the person who took the shot. It was a man, an old man called Slade, with an eye patch and a helmet, currently in the employ of another warlord called Vandal and his queen, Killer Frost. After hitting such an impossible shot, he starts to pack his bags, but Vandal is confused. Why are you packing? There is still a war to fight. Down below, we see the confusion of their leader dropping dead caused the civil war. They wanted to know where that arrow came from, and Slade wanted to get the hell out of there, because his point was to kill Black Mask. That was his job, and he fulfilled it. And now he was ready for his full payment, requesting the king to pull his men back and be merciful, but the king smiled. They call me Vandal Savage. I have to be savage. His men stepping ahead and butchering everyone in sight. They were Vikings after all. They plunder, and after plundering, they party like freaking Vikings do. It was a turn-up for the century. Blood and honor was their motto. But even at such a joyous occasion, Slade was not having fun. What was there to live for? The king looked at him and said, "Bruh, drink with me. Let's party." And Slade made it clear, "Nah, I'm good with the alcohol I have. I'm just waiting for you to give me my full payment." This disappointed the king because he knew Slade when Slade was the Deathstroke, when he lived for the violence. He thirsted for it. He was a berserker hanging the skulls of his enemies on his waist, deadly with any weapon, and even when weapons turn blunt, his fists are eternally sharp. But Slade made it clear that those days are long gone. Now, he's just here for the money. Vandal reminded him, "I saw you kill a man today with one bullet from miles away. I saw you end the war. That man isn't dead. He is just asleep. Now walk with me." Vandal wanted to show Slade what he was fighting for. This land, this very empire I am trying to build. War has given us a lot of gifts. But Slade took offense to this, clarifying, war gives no gifts. War only takes. Now, if you don't mind, I would like to take my coins too, so I may leave. This disappointed Vandal. Vandal asked Slade, "Don't you care about anything?" And Slade really did care about someone, but it seems like she has been lost to him for so long. So Vandal offered one final job, and Slade reluctantly accepted. The next day, they set off. Himself and a group of men were supposed to infiltrate somewhere and kill a monster. On that ship, following along was the Killer Frost. Slade was offended. "You don't need to come with me, my queen. I could handle this myself." But she made it clear, "I'm not here for you, fool. You're here for me. This is my hunt. Now shut up and stay out of the way and help us paddle so we could pass that bedrock." But Slade paused for a second. There ain't no bedrock on this path. And of course he was right. That wasn't bedrock. No, that was a monster. The queen tried to summon her Frost, but nothing came. Looking back at Slade, he was enjoying his wine, staying out of the way like she commanded. They were about to die. She was calling to her gods for support. And when Slade finally decided to join the fight, he leaped headfirst into the monster's mouth, because he's just mad like that. Even she was like, bruh, we should have brought someone else. This guy is bugging. But all of a sudden, the bedrock returned, the monster returned, and out of his skull crawled Deathstroke, covered in blood and guts. He needed a bath. Finally arriving at their destination, they laid low. Under the cover of darkness, they saw their target, standing in front of a statue. The queen warned, strike hard, strike fast, show no mercy. And Slade took this to heart, entering demon mode, because as soon as she gave the word, as soon as she unleashed her frost and attacked some, he attacked himself. Deathstroke entered the fight, decimating everyone who stood before him, splitting people in half. It's a good thing this comic is in black and white, because when there is violence, Deathstroke is in his element. But something was wrong. This fight was about to stop because of one word, one name, Adeline. Deathstroke heard that name, and mid-battle he stopped, taking off his helmet covered in blood. Addie? The queen didn't care though. She struck Adeline in the chest because she was here for blood. A little child tried to block her path, but she looked at him ready to kill him too. But then something came flying towards the queen and striking her in her shoulder, a battle axe, owned by Slade himself. She looked at him and commanded, "What madness is this, Slade? How dare you?" But all he could say is, "That is my wife." But she reminded him, ex-wife. And he said, "Not now, Addie." Watching as the queen got helped to her feet by her men, Deathstroke tossed back the remaining coins he had gotten, promising her that if she doesn't leave now, he will unleash a wrath she has never seen. And so the queen left, and she promised to be back to spill blood. And Deathstroke was fine with that, because right now, his number one concern was Addie. She was wounded. He wanted to help her. He wanted to approach her. But for some reason, this tiny child was blocking his path. But he should have known nobody could stop the Deathstroke, especially not a child. So Deathstroke did what he thought was right. Using one hand, he ripped off the cloak the child had on, and he saw something he did not expect. In a world full of darkness, covered in black and white, this child was the only color he could see. This child, his child, Jericho, was introduced for the first time in this universe. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification button. Peace.